you're new to tracking, my advice would be get a bag of burger patties, eggs, butter, bacon. How many did you eat? Even chicken thighs with skin. If you look on tracking apps, it just says how many and were they small, medium, or large? I ate 4 large chicken thighs with skin. Easy, right? Like it's easy to track some foods.
If you've been watching, you know that I take my ingredients very seriously, but there are 3 companies that I have found that I absolutely love. Check the description for discount codes. Hello, welcome to my show. My name is Adrienne. This is a series where I interview different people who've educated and inspired me to change what I've been doing and ultimately be able to be successful long term. Today, I have with me who many refer to as the Carnivore Queen, Kelly Hogan. You might recognize her from Instagram or YouTube. She's out inspiring thousands of people to live a healthier life and feel better. Kelly, welcome to my show.
Thanks, Adrian. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So, I think the first question everybody wants to know is, did you really ever struggle with your weight? Because you are absolutely stunning and it just doesn't look like it.
Well, thanks. It's very funny to me that anybody would doubt that because that's how I still identify as a person who had weight struggles. I don't identify as a heavy person now, but it's taken a long time for that to not be part of my identity, though. Because growing up, my brother was always so thin. My mom had this great figure. My dad and I, we were the two that just struggled all the time with weight. My dad, he would cut out sugar, then he would cut out fat. He tried and tried to lose weight. He is doing awesome these days, by the way. Lots of meat, very low carb, and walks a lot. He's doing great. But anyway, weight-wise, I looked a lot more like my dad. So, yes, I did. My highest weight was 262. The highest time I stepped on the scale and remembered it was 262. Yeah.
And now you're hovering around the 128 to 132 in that range, right? So that's like
Yeah.
130 pounds, 135
Yeah.
pounds. And
Yeah.
you've maintained it. I mean, I know I lost 66 pounds one time and then gained 100 back, but
Right.
you have, through this different thing, you've maintained it. Before finding the ultimate ticket for you, though, what had you tried that didn't really work?
So I started this when I was 25. My list of things I had tried is a lot shorter than most people's because I got really great advice from my doctor when I was in my 20s. But prior to that, I guess the normal things, really low fat. I had tried the rice cakes, pickles. One time I tried eating nothing but pickles. I don't remember how many weeks I lasted, but this is no joke. You know the huge jars of pickles that you can buy with the massive pickles? Okay, whole pickles, not sliced. They were lined up empty on my parents'. This is when I was still living at home. I was, I don't know, maybe between in summers of college at their house between going to college. And I ate so many pickles for so many weeks, and I would lose weight for a little bit and be like, "This is it. I can live on pickles forever." You cannot live on pickles forever. You eventually are like, "If I see a pickle, I'm going to die, literally die." So, of course, you go back to regular eating and you gain back whatever 10 pounds you had lost plus another 10. I had tried at one point living on nothing but yogurt, and I remember it was pineapple yogurt. Why? Because it was
Mm.
delicious and it was fat free. And I think one day I said to my parents, again, I was still at their house, this is so good. I bet I could eat this every day forever. And they were like, well, that probably wouldn't be a good idea. I'm going to try. And by George, Adrian, I'm not kidding. This went on, I don't remember how long. Again, it feels so good. The scale is moving. I could do this. What a dumb young idiot I was, Adrian. But then in my 20s, my doctor basically gave me permission to eat meat forever. And I said, but how many calories? He's like, I don't actually care. Just don't touch carbs. I don't care if it's your birthday. Eat meat. If you want some leafy greens, they wouldn't kill you. Well, I didn't want leafy greens, as it turns out. I never liked leafy greens. I kept in pickles and I would eat some green beans. Those were about the only vegetables I cared anything about. Yes, I did get over the pickle aversion eventually. I could eat them a little bit. So for 5 years, I followed his advice, and I don't even remember now what the original question was. But oh yeah, what have I tried? I had also tried tons of just running. I had joined
Mm.
I had looked at Weight Watchers points, but never actually like officially joined Weight Watchers. Mostly low fat, low calorie, and then pickles and
Yes.
yogurt.
This is so relatable, like, just such a drive to succeed, and so you're
Yes.
really willing to try anything, and then none of those things work, and then did you have, like, the self-blame of, like, "Well, it's because I didn't do a good enough job," or something like that?
I could have quit. It was such a good plan.
Yes.
On pickles forever.
So
Yeah.
then, ultimately, the doctor said, "Eat more meat," and that is where you are today.
Yes. He said I was getting these boils. It wasn't just weight. He may have commented on my weight eventually, but I believe he gave me this advice at a young age because I was getting the boils. And he said, "Well, you're inflamed and you're going to keep getting these boils and inflammation until you lose about 100 pounds. And you need to lose 100 pounds sooner than later because it's affecting your health." And of course, I'm in tears at this point. He was very old, and I don't think he minded hurting my feelings. They needed to be hurt, but I said, "I've tried everything. I don't know how to lose 100 pounds." And he's like, "You're inflamed from excessive carbohydrate intake." What? Like, what does that even mean? It makes total sense now, but at the moment, I didn't know anything about nutrition. I was like, carbohydrate, like cereal? That's what I was eating so much of so often was fat-free cereal and fat-free skim milk because I didn't want to be fat. That's the only thing I
Right?
knew to do. Like rice cakes are fat-free and cereal's fat-free and Snackwell cookies are fat-free and I'm eating these things and I'm still not fat-free. So
Yes.
he's like, "It's the carbs, it's not the fat." But he didn't tell me I needed the fat. I'm not putting him down for this. I'm just saying, I want to be clear. In that first conversation, he didn't say, "Fat is good. I want you to eat fatty meat." I do wish I knew that back then because it was a rough 5 years trying to figure out why do I sometimes feel so bad? I'm not eating carbs. Now, I never got another boil and I did lose weight and I was definitely better, way better than where I started. But you can't have great energy if you're eating leaner meats. And there were times when I was, but I didn't know that was the problem. It took me 5 years to get that figured out, but I did. Also, I want to point out that I don't usually show up for interviews wearing a hat. It is of no disrespect. I wanted to get all glamorous for today, but I am getting my hair done this afternoon, and you don't wash your hair the morning of a hair appointment. So just throwing that out there. Okay.
I think you still look fabulous.
Well, thank you. I love a
I almost
hat.
wore my jumper just for fun, just so we could be twinsies today.
Love a jumper. Yeah.
I love what I've actually met Kelly in person, and I remember going to the Northeast meetup, and a bunch of people wore their jumpers too, and I
That
thought,
was
"Ah, I
fun.
should get one of those," so I got one too. They're so comfy,
Oh my word, like pajamas. Yeah.
and it's summer season, it's time to wear it, they get to come back out.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you started eating the fatty meats then, and that was like a life changer.
Life came back to my body, Adrian. I was like, oh, because the reason I started seeking out answers was I was really getting very tired. And I wasn't looking as good. I was getting dark under my eyes and my skin was dry. And I thought it can't be healthy to only eat meat forever. But if I eat anything else, I'm afraid I'm going to gain weight back. And I had toyed around a little bit with this Atkins carb ladder thing, enough to realize that's true. I can't eat carbs, but maybe just eating meat is the reason I'm tired and kind of look like garbage cuz nobody back then was going to ever say you should just eat meat. Nobody had said that to me. My doctor he kind of said that. Anyway, at the 5 yearish mark, that's when I Googled, is it safe to only eat meat? Expecting to probably find out no. And what I found instead was zeroing in on health. It was a forum of carnivores run by Charles Washington. Dana Spencer Shute was there. Amber O'Hearn was in that group. Lisa Wiedemann, Dr. Lisa Wiedemann was in that group. So many amazing carnivores, Joe and Charlene Anderson, and they called themselves Zero Carbers. They all looked amazing. They all said, "Yeah, eating only meat is healthy." And I said, "Well, I've lost a lot of weight." I showed my before and after pictures, and they were like, "Wow, that's incredible. How did you do it?" I said, "Well, I cut out all the carbs." And they were like, "You are one of us." And I said, "Yeah, thanks." And then I said, "But I don't know, do y'all still struggle with the cravings and low energy?" And they were like, "What?" I said, "I am. I'm still having sugar cravings and I have low energy sometimes." And they were like, "Talk us through what you're eating every day, because no, we don't." So I told them, and they said, "Okay, two things. You're having cravings because you're still drinking Diet Dr. Pepper." Really? Is that it? Because I love my Diet Dr. Pepper. And they were like, "Yes, cut that out. That's no, that's a no." And I was a little mad at them for that because I felt like I'm
Yeah,
not
I
having
am letting you.
I was like, "You're gonna take my last thing?" And then they said, "And you have low energy because you need more fat. You gotta eat a lot of fatty meat." Oh. Within 3 days, I was, like, glowy, my cravings are gone, and I wanted to just preach this to the world. I didn't really talk a lot about it the first 5 years. I just kept telling people, "Yeah, my doctor told me to cut out sugar, so that's what I did." And it was just, people in my life. I wasn't like there wasn't social media. I wasn't This was from 2004 to 2009. I wasn't on anything. But then around 2009, when I joined that forum, it pretty quickly moved over to Facebook, and that's when I started talking more about, "Oh my gosh, now I feel good. Now I get it. I'm on board completely. Cravings gone. This is easy and I feel good."
So that's how you started sharing. I wondered where the conversion was. Um,
Yes.
so did you ever so now you've been doing this a long time. I've seen you've done so many experiments, which is why we like to follow you because you've not only experimented on yourself with different macros and different things, but you've seen other people do it too. So you have a lot of wisdom as to like what worked for some people and what didn't. But did you ever have any struggles where you gained weight back and had to lose it? Anything like that? Or
Yes.
has it been a smooth sailing? You just did it, and then it was like going down a water slide, and then everything was just perfect and easy?
Every day the scale was just lower than the day before, and that's how I did it. No, girl, no. I don't think it's ever like that for anybody. There were long plateaus. I was pretty sure at one point that I was going to be in the 160s. And considering I started in the 260s, I thought that's pretty amazing, actually. And the scale wouldn't go any lower than the 160s. That's just where I was. Bought new clothes, made peace with it, thought, it's not where I wanted to be entirely. Like, if I had my way, I knew I would have lost another 20
Yeah.
pounds. But it's just where it stopped. I probably stayed there 2 years. No joke. I wasn't cheating. I didn't start adding things back. I didn't get sloppy. No, it's just my body just froze there for a really long time. But it still felt good. I wasn't getting boils. And what are you going to do, right? I knew I couldn't, if I added things back, I'd be back at 260. So I just kept trucking right along. And eventually, the scale moved down to 140, stayed there, other than pregnancies, for like 10 years. And just this in the past year, dropped even a little bit more to now around 130. And so there is a little bit of weight loss that's sort of like, okay, look, sometimes your body is going to take a break and you may not be doing anything wrong. Just hang in, don't go back. There are some tweaks and things that can help, no doubt. But for the most part, I kept doing the things. I kept taking walks. I kept eating meat. I kept not eating carbs. And then whoosh, we haven't we all woken up to a whoosh that you can't really explain? Right? It's
Yes.
like I've just been stopped forever and now it's working. I didn't suddenly change my whole lifestyle, just my body was ready again. So I know that's frustrating. I've lived that. Every day was not do 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 do. No, it was more like jagged, up, down, bouncing, ounce, whoosh, stay, up. It can be a little maddening.
I could just cry because you're explaining my life right now. Like I've been stuck between 155 and 165 despite all the things I've tried. And I've just recently come to, and it kind of breaks my heart to even say this, that I just need to heal for a little bit, and maybe that's not acceptable to people who are in the weight loss industry, that maybe I just need to take some time to heal and that it's just not gonna be perfect and, but I think that's what I need right now. I have chronic inflammatory response syndrome, you know. So I just need to heal, work on my thyroid, give my body some love, and even doing this though, I'm maintaining, and some of the reasons I'm maintaining is because I'm part of your group, I'm part of Dr. Lisa's group, and it gives me hope and it gives me more information on how I can heal and how I can maintain this. And ultimately, one day when my body's ready, that maybe we can have a couple more whooshes. So, you recently posted a fantastic video on how you lost those last few pounds. And for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, could you just give us a quick brief, like 3 things that you did that helped you lose those last 3 pounds and that you've seen in your groups?
Yes. Okay. So, first of all, let's start with basics here. Stay consistent in the 5 pillars of lowering insulin and improving your health, which, in my opinion, would be staying off of the foods that got us sick in the first place, right? All of the processed garbage, starchy, sugary, pastas, potatoes, all of that for me. Stay away from that. Replace all of that with the good, nice, when I say fatty meat, what I mean is between 60 to 80% calories from fat, which includes most all meat. That includes bacon and burgers, ribeyes, beef ribs, all of that. Beautiful. It does not include just skinless, boneless chicken breast. Throwing that one out there. It can be part of a diet, but not the whole diet, in my opinion. Okay, so there's the first 2 pillars are nutrition. Then the last 3 in whatever order: movement, whether that's walking, lifting weights, move your body in a way that feels really good and work some muscle groups. Sleep is imperative for restoring overnight. Just it's key. There are weight loss studies that show that people in the exact same calorie deficit will lose weight at a completely different rate if the only thing they change is sleep. The sleep deprived group will lose muscle mass and gain body fat even in a calorie deficit. Sleep is powerful. And then stress management. So, if you can't remove the stress, at least finding ways to send safety signals to your body: breath work, grounding, being outdoors, prayer, meditation, visualizing yourself safe, the way we talk to each other, to ourselves. Sorry. We should always talk nice to each other too. But yes, to ourselves. I would say consistency in those things would be number 1. I believe that even if you do nothing else, but you stay consistent in that, it might take some time, but you're going to come to a healthy body weight. The second thing, if that's not working for you yet, I do think, and research backs this up, that people who do track what they are eating end up getting better results. There was even this cool study where people were randomly assigned to 2 different groups. One group was taught how to track their food using a tracking app. The other group was told, do not change anything. The tracking, eat as you were, move as you were, do as you were, just carry on, friend. You were in the control group. This group was told, don't change anything. No nutritional, just do what you do. The only thing we want you to do is track every bite that you eat. That's it. They were not given nutritional advice. That's all. Taught how to do it accurately, though. That's it. How to track. They lost 2.5 times more body weight during the 12 weeks of the study. Why? Well, maybe because it brings some awareness. You have to sort of pause before you eat it, right? To take note of, is this worth tracking? That's my guess. Is there's just a pause and awareness. So tracking, and I
Mhm.
would say part of that is, if you're really willing to get down to business, you could make sure that you're eating pretty close to what a TDEE, total daily energy expenditure calculator, estimates for your body. Because if somebody way undereats or way overeats, it's going to be really hard to lose weight for the long term. You can drop 5 pounds quickly eating nothing. You can maybe drop 10 pounds pretty quickly eating next to nothing, but you're going to stall out. Your body will not continue to reward you for under eating. It is a very
Mhm.
stressful state and it's hard on the metabolism. Also, it's going to be really hard to lose weight. Extreme overeating, right? Like, somewhere there's this happy little balance. So that would be my second recommendation. And then third, take note, whether it's one of the best things people could spend $1 on. Go to Walmart, spend $1 on a spiral notebook and just document what happened on the days when you did keep your calories at 1700 and you kept your fat at around 70/30. What happened? How was your sleep? How was your mood? How was your poop? How's your sex life going? And what did the scale say? I can tell you what 70/30, 1700 calories does for my body. Also, who cares, right? That's me. You need to find out what it does for your body. So, my carnivore BFF, Karen Miles, she and I were having this talk, and she's like, I don't know, it seems like some days this happens and that happens. I said, but you track your food. I knew she did. She's like, yes. I said, and you're tracking your weight. Yes. Have you ever like compared notes? She jumped on that. I just kind of made an offhand comment about, have you compared notes on that? She made a spreadsheet and took her weeks and weeks of data of her calories, her movement, and her weight. And she went through and just put stars next to the ones where the scale went down. She noticed a pattern. Now, you're not going to find a pattern in 4 days, people. Okay. That is not a pattern. You got to give this time. She had weeks of data. She said, you know what? The scale actually goes up if I eat around 1,500 calories. I said, wow. She goes, it also goes up if I eat over 1,000 calories. It goes down when I stick around 17 to 1,800. I said, no joke. Well, why don't you try that? So she did. And she's down over 11 pounds now since she started doing that little tracking. So there it is. Consistency in the obvious things that we know works. Research backs them up. Our food, movement, sleep, stress management. Track, try to stick to a TDEE, and then take
Sure.
note of what actually happens in your own little experiment. And sometimes people say, well, the data stresses me out. And I'm like, no, you got to be a scientist about this. It
Mhm.
is not a personal failure if that number set yesterday wasn't your answer. Document, move on. New day. What's today's experiment? What are you going to do today to see what happens tomorrow? It's got to come from like a place of curiosity. What if today you ate 4,000 calories because it was an emotional day instead of going, oh gosh, I blew it? How about this? Oh, it's going to be curious to see what happens tomorrow. Document it. What if? What if the scale went down? Cool. What if it went up? Okay, well then take that as data. Don't eat 4,000 calories. All right, like it's just data. And when people can sort of disconnect from that and then also take some non-scale things into account and say, yeah, but so the scale didn't go down, but my sleep was better and my push-ups are getting easier and my mood was better. Okay, well now we've got 1,000 metrics and not just one to gauge all of our success on. And I think that's when people, it's powerful. It is for me at least.
I know since I started tracking, so at first I had a couple whooshes and I was really afraid, oh my gosh, if I don't keep some of my whooshes included things that were tough, like intermittent fasting, which is
Mhm.
tough for me because I just want to eat all day long, or more movement, or maybe implementing a sardine challenge each week or something. So it included some hard stuff. Well, what happens when it stops? And so it's been kind of scary. Like, am I going to gain all my weight back? And what I've learned over the past year and almost year and a half is that no, my body loves this. And even if I go up, if I keep doing what I'm doing, it goes down and up and down. And so I'm learning to be able, like when I have those days where I ate 3,000 calories, well, my body actually said, whoo, thank you. My metabolism loves it, instead of being so afraid of all these experiments, it's almost become, because I documented it, an
Mhm.
ability to love myself a little bit more and say that it's okay and it doesn't have to be perfect. And a lot of things that you do so much tracking every single day. You're so consistent. Do you have any tips for anybody on how to stay consistent like you? Because I'm really consistent for like 40 to 60 days and then I go, "Eh."
Yes, my best tip on how to stay with tracking is eat the same thing every day and make it super simple. So when people really get frustrated with tracking, they're usually eating things like a casserole or meats that are really hard to track. And they're like, I can't, this is so stressful. I'm like, you're new to tracking. My advice would be get a bag of burger patties, eggs, butter, bacon. How many did you eat? Even chicken thighs with skin. If you look on tracking apps, it just says how many and were they small, medium, or large? I ate 4 large chicken thighs with skin. Easy, right? Like, it's easy to track some foods. For people who are making, oh, carnivore breads and carnivore pizzas, carnivore casseroles, all right, well, you're gonna lose your mind. So, get a therapist if you plan on tracking, and they'll ask me, "How do I track it?" Girl, I don't know, that's why I'm not eating it. I don't know. It's too
Yeah.
enter a bunch of ingredients and divide it by how many servings. I'm out. So that's my advice. Pick foods that are really easy while you're trying to find your sweet, happy spot. Frankly, I don't even need to track at this point. I know exactly what I'm eating, but I share with my groups every day. Mostly, I would like them to see this woman eats and it's okay. Maybe I can also eat. People are terrified to eat more than
Yeah.
1,200 calories. So I think if there's no other point in me posting my meals every day, except that maybe somebody out there will say, wow, she ate 9 quarter pounders yesterday. Maybe I should be eating a little bit more. My work here is done. That's it. Nourish.
Yes. You know what else? I'm falling off because I will get into a grazing and it's difficult to track if I eat a half a burger patty here and a half a burger patty there and a piece of cheese and and so that I just need to practice. I do feel better if I eat meals because it's better for my insulin and I have insulin sensitivities. So I really need to stick to my meals.
That's
A
another.
lot of people,
I'm sorry, let
yep.
me jump in and say another thing that will make tracking a lot easier is the lack of grazing. When I show what I ate for the day every day, that is literally every bite that I took. And people say, gosh, that's so much food. And I think you might not know how much you're eating if it's a little this, little that. I'm not nibbling on pepperoni and cheese and other things between. And if I did, I would show it and I would track it. So when you see what I eat and it looks like a lot, that is everything I ate. And I think that's important for people to realize is if they were consistently tracking, they would have a better idea of how much they were actually eating or how little.
There's 2 things that both you and I do that feel good to us, but I get a lot of criticism about it, and I'm wondering if you could talk to us about that. I know what my answer is, but I wanna know what yours is. So one of them is that we eat the same foods every day. I do. I eat the same foods, and I'm totally comfortable with that. And number 2 is if I'm able to, I will walk all day long. It feels so good, but some people are calling that exorexia or something like that. What are your thoughts on these 2 things? Because I know they make you feel good too.
Yeah, so as for eating the same foods every day, most species of living things, that is how they work, right? It's not like anyone criticizes a lion or a koala bear. Gosh, koala bear, could you just change things up? You have like these two favorite foods, and that's all you eat, for heaven's sakes. Like, I'm a species also, and I'm eating what feels very species appropriate to me. I go through phases. So even though in a 10-day period it might look the same compared to what I was doing 6 months ago, it's different. I went through a chicken thigh phase, salmon every night for dinner. If it's meat, I'm very open to it. I'll still go out to eat with my family. But yeah, for the most part, it's burger patties. It's cheap. It's easy. They're delicious and they give me great results. So I'm not going to apologize for eating a food that I find to be delightful. And I think it's very human for a lot of people to get into a rut, even if it's an unhealthy one. I used to go and order the same meal at McDonald's. Nobody was like, number two, order again. Why don't you ever change it up to the number five? Because I like it. Right? Like it's what I like. Okay. As for the walking, we are all blessed with the exact same number of hours, 24 hours a day. I choose how many I'm going to sleep, and then all typically 8 hours a night. All the rest of the hours, we all get that same amount. I could either be sitting all day, standing all day, walking all day, crawling all day, or laying all day. I figure these are like the top 5 options, right? But we're all doing one of those things. So if I were to say you only got 3,000 steps, I don't understand how you could sit so much. Like, is it an obsession? Do you have sitorexia? Is it like like I wouldn't say that to somebody. I would just assume that maybe your life allows you to sit a lot more than I'm sitting, and my job allows me to walk more than some people's jobs allow. So I have a standing desk. I do a lot of typing notes and a lot of editing videos. I record YouTube videos, and it takes about 8 hours of editing for each video. And that 8 hours, I can do the entire thing while I walk on my treadmill. I could do the entire thing sitting on my rear end. The 8 hours will pass either way, right? So people say, how do you have time for all that walking? The same way you had time for all that sitting. It takes the same amount of 8 hours, right? But it does feel better to my body to be just moving. I could be outdoors moving or indoors sitting, and when possible, I would just rather be outside. I have not tested for SIRS other than the vision test, but I failed the vision test horribly. I know I was exposed to mold growing up. And prior to carnivore, I had many of the symptoms from the 13 symptom clusters. I think I probably do have SIRS, but I get incredible relief from my
Mhm.
symptoms if I do eat this way. But one thing people should also know about SIRS is legitimately we feel, let me rephrase that because I can't say for sure. Legitimately, people who do have SIRS feel better if they are outdoors. Fresh air, sunshine, movement, it is good for anybody. Ask any mom, right? Go outside, kids. Go play. Are you fussy, fighty, grumpy? Go outside and play. You'll feel better. We do too. But people who have SIRS, I think it matters even more. The vitamin
Mhm.
D, same for fish. The omega 3s, I think matter
Yes.
even more. Getting enough sleep matters even more. Avoiding the plants matters for us even more because of the amylose. That's why carnivore is so amazing for people with SIRS. So, yes, I think you legitimately do feel better when you're outside for good reason.
And I feel better eating sardines. They're full of that selenium, they're full of those omegas.
Yeah.
And then, the walking also opens up your lymphatic system, which gets really clogged up when you're hyperinflamed, chronically inflamed.
Yes.
And so all the things really do feel better. And also, I think they're primal. Like our
Yes.
ancestors weren't sitting at a desk typing all day. They were out walking and getting water and getting whatever they needed and hunting and gathering. And so I think it's very natural. And maybe
Yeah.
that's why it feels so good.
Yeah. People act like sitting under artificial light in an office cubicle all day is perfectly normal. But you start walking outdoors and getting some sunshine and feeling good. And it's like, exorexia or whatever they call it. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think I just like walking.
Yeah, and nobody ever says too, like, "Hey, you eat pizza every single Friday, you have an eating disorder."
True.
Or cereal for breakfast every single morning.
Every single day. I did that for all of my growing up years and in my 20s. Every single day, oatmeal or cereal for breakfast. Nobody said a word. That's normal, right?
Yeah. Okay. You used to do some CrossFit, but your CrossFit gym closed.
Yes.
So now you're doing daily, I don't know what you call them, calisthenics or, push-ups, sit-ups, that type of stuff. Do you see any muscle gain just doing these simple, small things each day?
So I don't do sit-ups, but every day I do push-ups and squats in my walk. That's the three exercise things that I commit to. And every single month I add one more. So I started off really low. I hate push-ups. I couldn't do any on my toes. Well, maybe one when I first started. I couldn't do them very well. So I started, I thought if every day I do one really good push-up, then by the end of the month, maybe I'll be able to do two. And in my mind, then when I was able to do two, I thought, okay, I bet I could add one more. And at some point, I thought, yeah, but you'll top out. What are you ever going to do, like 20? Well, I've done that every single month. I add one more. And this month, I'm up to 23 good push-ups, not on my knees, real push-ups. And so I've slowly worked up. And in my mind, I still think, what are you going to someday be up to 50? That's not that long away. That's not that many months, couple years. Well, I don't know. But if I don't quit and every single month I add one more, maybe I'll be up to 50, right? To me, my body still looks very similar to how it did. I don't know. It's hard to see changes in yourself. But I do know this, I can do more push-ups than before. I do my 23 squats every day, which is not hard. I should probably be doing weighted squats, but I just do body weight. And I walk. And I'm pleased with how I'm feeling. I do check I have a body composition scale, and I check in on that for body fat and muscle mass, and things have not changed dramatically in a while, but I'm okay
But
with
you're
that.
looking fabulous, so it doesn't need to change a lot, but you are improving your strength and your
Yeah.
endurance every day when you do this. You are improving your everything.
Thank
So,
you. Yeah, it's
and
progressively overloading, just not in the traditional sense of the gym where they would say every day come in and do a little more. It's a very, very slow progressive overload, right? But I'm getting better. And in a year, I will have added 12 more per day. The only secret is do it every single day and don't give up, right? Don't like if I keep going, I will get better. Just keep going.
so
Oh.
manageable.
Yes, it doesn't take me long at all. It's about what 1 to 2 seconds per push up. It's very very time efficient.
Let's see here. Let me just pick one last one. Do you ever get off routine?
When I travel, and I'm a really routine oriented person, so that's it doesn't feel happy for me the first few days when I'm on vacation. It feels stressful to me because I really like my routine. I've got a good thing going here. I've got my work studio right here. Right on the other side of the room is my fun studio where I've got my laptop table set up, a TV where I can see my favorite shows, but the treadmill is right there. My trampoline where the kids bounce next to me while we take turns walking and jumping. I love it here. I'm so happy. My little meadow up the street I walk to, I say up the street. It's 1.75-mile walk round trip. It's not that far, but it's a good walk and I'm happy. So then you get away from home and you're suddenly like, where am I? What am I doing?
Yes.
My checklist of non-negotiables. Always, I do it even on vacation. I can do those 23 push-ups anywhere, the 23 squats anywhere, even if it's a bathroom, right? You can do that. Okay, I don't want to do push-ups in a bathroom, but the
That's
squat
part of the pooping process as it is. So I'm just does that count?
I can I can fit in a walk most any day, even on vacation. Some days I even get higher steps because you're on the beach or something. But the routine really does matter, and I try not to get off of my non-negotiables. And on my checklist every single day is that I only eat animal products. And that probably seems silly to put on a list. It seems silly to me too, because that's
But
just
it's
how
a win.
every day it is a reminder that I did that. I did that, and that's a win for me because it's how I feel my best. So, yes, even on vacation, I stick to the non-negotiables.
I've been on 2 cruises in my whole life, and the first one, I went off plan, I didn't really walk, I was just kinda discombobulated, didn't my eating was a little off, I didn't track. My second one, I also did not track, but I stuck to my animal foods, and I walked every single day, and I lifted 3 times, and I felt amazing, and then I was able to enjoy my cruise more. The cruise was more enjoyable, but the first day, I was like, "Something feels wrong."
Yeah.
Something feels wrong, but then I got into my groove, so I think that's super helpful, but Kelly, thank you so much for your time. This was so lovely. I'm sure some people are gonna find this so helpful. I just really appreciate I know time is such a commodity, and I really appreciate that you shared some of that with me today, so thank you so much for being here.
I was honored that you asked. Thank you, Adrian.
Yes, and everybody, if you could please like, subscribe, share, that would be great. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.